I still remember the first time I noticed something was off with Benny, my beagle. He had always been a bundle of energy, a constant whirlwind of wagging tail, floppy ears bouncing as he darted around the yard or nudged me for a game of fetch. But over a span of just a few months, something changed. At first, I thought maybe it was just the normal slowing down that comes with age. Benny was about 6 years old then, still young but no longer a puppy. I noticed he was gaining weight, and not just a little, he ballooned noticeably, even though I hadn't changed his diet or feeding schedule. His usual spunky nature dimmed, the endless curiosity and zest for exploring became replaced by long naps and lethargy. He'd lie on his bed for hours, barely responding when I called his name or rattled his leash. I got worried. A dog suddenly so inactive and heavy wasn't just getting older. Something was wrong. One chilly afternoon, I took Benny to the vet. She weighed him and shook her head gently, telling me his weight was significantly higher than it should be. The vet examined him thoroughly, noting his slow movements and dull coat. She asked questions about his diet, exercise, and any other symptoms I might have noticed. I mentioned how he'd been panting more than usual, seemed colder than before, and had developed a slight swelling around his neck that I'd mistaken for a food pocket. The vet's face grew more serious. She said she wanted to run some blood tests to check his thyroid function and overall health. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew I needed answers. Waiting for the results was tough. Benny seemed to sense my worry and would lean into me more often, as if trying to offer comfort. The days crawled by, every glance at his quiet figure making my heart tighten. When the call finally came, the vet explained Benny had hypothyroidism, a condition where the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough hormones, leading to a slowing of metabolism. It explained the sudden weight gain, fatigue, and even his cold intolerance. The thyroid gland controls so many functions in the body, and when it slows down, everything slows with it. Hearing this was both a relief and a new worry. On one hand, I had a diagnosis, an explanation for Benny's strange symptoms. On the other, I was overwhelmed by the idea of managing a chronic illness in my dog. The vet reassured me that hypothyroidism was treatable, usually with daily medication to replace the missing hormones. She went over the treatment plan, possible side effects, and the importance of regular checkups. She warned it might take weeks or even months to see improvement, so patience would be key. Driving home, I glanced over at Benny in the passenger seat, his eyes half closed but trusting. I promised myself I'd do everything I could to get my friend back to his old self. That night, as I gave him his first pill, I wondered how different things would be. Would Benny ever be as lively as before? Would the fatigue and weight ever lift? The days that followed were filled with careful monitoring, daily medication, and small but encouraging signs. Benny still napped a lot, but sometimes he'd perk up for a few minutes longer than before. His appetite steadied, and his coat looked a little shinier. But there were setbacks, too. Some days he seemed more tired, and I worried the medication wasn't working fast enough. I read everything I could find about canine hypothyroidism, searching for stories from other owners, hoping to find hope and guidance. Through it all, I learned how crucial it was to be vigilant, not just with Benny's meds, but with his overall well-being. The vet adjusted his dosage after a few weeks, based on new blood tests. We started regular walks again, short at first, then gradually longer as Benny's energy returned. The transformation wasn't overnight, but it was real. Benny's spark was coming back. As the weeks turned into months, Benny's progress was steady, though not without its challenges. The medication truly made a difference. His energy returned gradually, and the once troubling weight gain began to stabilize. The vet's adjustments to his thyroid hormone dosage were crucial, tailored carefully through frequent blood tests and observation. One of the hardest things was patience. With a condition like hypothyroidism, there are no instant fixes. There were days I caught myself hoping for a sudden burst of his old energy or a quick drop in his weight, only to be reminded that healing takes time. Despite this, Benny's personality began to shine through again. He'd wag his tail a little more enthusiastically, occasionally give me those classic Beagle howls when he saw a squirrel, and even started pulling on his leash during our walks, a sign that the fog of fatigue was lifting. Of course, the weight was a battle. Although the thyroid hormone replacement helped boost his metabolism, it wasn't a magic bullet. I adjusted his diet under the vet's guidance, switching to a lower-calorie, nutrient-dense food designed for hypothyroid dogs. We cut back on treats and kept his exercise routine consistent, though gentle. There were also emotional challenges. I'd never seen Benny so vulnerable before, and it made me realize how much I took for granted his boundless energy. Watching him struggle at times was heartbreaking. But it also deepened our bond. I was determined to give him the best quality of life possible. Through the months, Benny became a symbol of resilience for me. The way he adapted to this new normal, relying on me as much as I relied on him for companionship, taught me a lot about caring for someone you love through illness. By his 1-year anniversary since diagnosis, Benny had regained much of his vitality. His weight was closer to a healthy range, his coat glossier, and his spirit brighter. The vet called him a success story, a testament to the power of proper diagnosis and treatment. Looking back, the thyroid condition explained so much about Benny's sudden changes: the lethargy, the unexpected weight gain, the cold intolerance. It was a relief to know the cause wasn't something untreatable or worse. Today, Benny still takes his medication daily. We keep a regular checkup schedule, and I remain vigilant for any signs of relapse. But mostly, I enjoy the renewed energy and happiness in his eyes, grateful that a tricky condition didn't mean the end of his joyful Beagle days. If there's one thing I've learned from this experience, it's the importance of paying attention to the subtle changes in our pet's health. Sometimes, what looks like normal aging or behavior shifts can be signs of something deeper, and getting the right diagnosis can change everything. Benny's story isn't over, but for now, he's back to being my lively, loving companion, reminding me every day how much strength there is in a dog's heart, and how much love can heal.